Welcome to the Real English Practice YouTube channel.
Hi, Hea. How have you been?
Hi, Mark. I've been great.
Have you just arrived?
Yes, I've just arrived.
What have you done today?
I've finished my work.
Have you eaten lunch yet?
Yes, I've eaten a sandwich.
Where have you been this morning?
I've been at the park.
Have you walked your dog?
Yes, I've walked him already.
How have you felt today?
I've felt happy all day.
Have you called your mom?
Yes, I've called her twice.
When have you last exercised?
I've exercised this morning.
Have you tried new food recently?
Yes, I've tried sushi.
Where have you bought groceries?
I've bought them at the market.
Have you cleaned your room?
Yes, I've cleaned it today.
How have you spent your weekend?
I've spent it with friends.
Have you watched a movie lately?
Yes, I've watched a comedy.
What have you learned this week?
I've learned new words.
Have you visited your grandparents?
Yes, I've visited them.
When have you last traveled?
I've traveled last month.
Have you taken any photos?
Yes, I've taken many photos.
Where have you gone on vacation?
I've gone to the beach.
Have you swum in the sea?
Yes, I've swum there.
How have you enjoyed your trip?
I've enjoyed it a lot.
Have you bought souvenirs?
Yes, I've bought a keychain.
What have you seen on your trip?
I've seen beautiful sunsets.
Have you met new people?
Yes, I've met some tourists.
When have you returned home?
I've returned last week.
Have you shared your stories?
Yes, I've shared with family.
How have you felt after traveling?
I've felt refreshed.
Have you planned another trip?
Yes, I've planned for summer.
Where have you wanted to go?
I've wanted to go to Japan.
Have you saved money for it?
Yes, I've saved some money.
Have you studied a language?
Yes, I've studied Spanish.
How have you practiced it?
I've practiced with an app.
Have you spoken to natives?
Yes, I've spoken online.
What have you learned recently?
I've learned new phrases.
Have you taken any classes?
Yes, I've taken online classes.
When have you started learning?
I've started last year.
Have you improved your skills?
Yes, I've improved a lot.
How have you tested your progress?
I've tested with a quiz.
Have you written in Spanish?
Yes, I've written a letter.
Have you enjoyed learning?
Yes, I've enjoyed it a lot.
Have you painted recently?
Yes, I've painted a picture.
What have you painted?
I've painted a mountain.
Where have you kept your art?
I've kept it in my room.
Have you shown it to friends?
Yes, I've shown it to them.
How have they reacted?
They've loved it.
Have you used bright colors?
Yes, I've used blue and red.
When have you finished painting?
I finished last weekend.
Have you tried new techniques?
Yes, I've tried watercolor.
How have you learned them?
I've learned from videos.
Have you created other art?
Yes, I've created a sketch.
Have you worked on a project?
Yes, I've worked on one.
What have you completed?
I've completed a report.
Where have you worked on it?
I've worked at my desk.
Have you met your deadline?
Yes, I've met it early.
How have you organized your tasks?
I've used a planner.
Have you discussed with your team?
Yes, I've discussed with them.
When have you submitted it?
I've submitted it yesterday.
Have you received feedback?
Yes, I've received good feedback.
How have you improved your work?
I've made some changes.
Have you celebrated your success?
Yes, I've celebrated with coffee.
Have you cooked dinner recently?
Yes, I've cooked pasta.
What have you added to it?
I've added a creamy sauce.
Where have you learned the recipe?
I've learned from a book.
Have you shared the meal?
Yes, I've shared with family.
How have they liked it?
They've liked it a lot.
Have you baked dessert?
Yes, I've baked cookies.
When have you baked them?
I've baked them last night.
Have you used chocolate chips?
Yes, I've used them.
How have the cookies tasted?
They've tasted delicious.
Have you eaten them all?
No, I've saved some.
Have you exercised this week?
Yes, I've exercised 3 times.
What have you done for exercise?
I've done yoga.
Where have you practiced?
I've practiced at home.
Have you stretched a lot?
Yes, I've stretched every day.
How have you felt after yoga?
I felt calm and strong.
Have you tried new poses?
Yes, I've tried 2 poses.
When have you done them?
I've done them this morning.
Have you watched tutorials?
Yes, I've watched online.
How have they helped you?
They've helped me improve.
Have you joined a class?
Yes, I've joined one online.
Have you read any books lately?
Yes, I've read a novel.
What have you read?
I've read a mystery book.
Where have you bought it?
I've bought it at a store.
Have you finished it yet?
Yes, I've finished it.
How have you liked the story?
I've liked it a lot.
Have you recommended it?
Yes, I've recommended to friends.
When have you read it?
I read it last weekend.
Have you learned new words?
Yes, I've learned some.
How have you used them?
I've used them in sentences.
Have you bought another book?
Yes, I've bought a new one.
Have you attended a party recently?
Yes, I've attended a birthday.
Where have you celebrated?
I've celebrated at a hall.
Have you danced there?
Yes, I've danced with friends.
What have you eaten at the party?
I've eaten cake and pizza.
How have you enjoyed it?
I've enjoyed it a lot.
Have you met new friends?
Yes, I've met 3 people.
When have you left the party?
I've left at 9 p.m.
Have you taken pictures?
Yes, I've taken many.
How have you shared them?
I've shared on social media.
Have you had fun there?
Yes, I've had so much fun.
Have you cleaned your house lately?
Yes, I've cleaned it.
What have you cleaned first?
I've cleaned the kitchen.
Where have you started?
I've started in the living room.
Have you vacuumed the floor?
Yes, I've vacuumed it.
How have you organized things?
I've used storage boxes.
Have you washed the windows?
Yes, I've washed them.
When have you finished cleaning?
I finished yesterday.
Have you felt tired after?
Yes, I felt a bit tired.
How have you rested?
I've rested on the couch.
Have you cleaned with someone?
Yes, I've cleaned with my brother.
Have you shopped this month?
Yes, I've shopped for clothes.
Where have you gone shopping?
I've gone to the mall.
What have you bought there?
I've bought a new jacket.
Have you tried it on?
Yes, I've tried it on.
How have you paid for it?
I've paid with a card.
Have you spent a lot?
Yes, I've spent $40.
When have you shopped?
I've shopped last weekend.
Have you enjoyed shopping?
Yes, I've enjoyed it a lot.
How have you carried your bags?
I've carried them myself.
Have you shopped with friends?
Yes, I've shopped with them.
Have you played a game recently?
Yes, I've played chess.
Where have you played it?
I've played at home.
Have you won the game?
Yes, I've won 2 matches.
How have you played well?
I focused on strategy.
Have you played with family?
Yes, I've played with my dad.
When have you played?
I've played last night.
Have you learned new moves?
Yes, I've learned some.
How have you improved?
I've practiced a lot.
Have you enjoyed the game?
Yes, I've enjoyed it a lot.
Have you tried other games?
Yes, I've tried card games.
Have you visited a museum?
Yes, I've visited one.
Where have you gone?
I've gone to a history museum.
What have you seen there?
I've seen old artifacts.
Have you taken a tour?
Yes, I've taken a guided tour.
How have you liked it?
I've liked it a lot.
Have you learned history?
Yes, I've learned new facts.
When have you visited?
I visited last month.
Have you gone with friends?
Yes, I've gone with them.
How have you traveled there?
I've traveled by bus.
Have you taken notes?
Yes, I've taken some notes.
Have you listened to music lately?
Yes, I've listened to pop.
Where have you listened?
I've listened in my room.
What song have you played?
I've played a new hit.
Have you danced to it?
Yes, I've danced a little.
How have you felt after?
I felt happy and relaxed.
Have you shared the song?
Yes, I've shared with friends.
When have you listened?
I've listened this morning.
Have you bought new music?
Yes, I've bought an album.
Have you sung along?
Yes, I've sung with the lyrics.
Have you driven recently?
Yes, I've driven to work.
Where have you driven?
I've driven to the office.
Have you stopped anywhere?
Yes, I've stopped for coffee.
How have you driven safely?
I followed the rules.
Have you checked your car?
Yes, I've checked the tires.
When have you driven?
I've driven this morning.
Have you enjoyed the drive?
Yes, I've enjoyed it.
How have you avoided traffic?
I've taken a shortcut.
Have you driven with someone?
Yes, I've driven with my sister.
Have you listened to the radio?
Yes, I've listened to news.
Have you attended a class?
Yes, I've attended a cooking class.
What have you cooked there?
I've cooked a new dish.
Where have you taken the class?
I've taken it at a center.
Have you learned new skills?
Yes, I've learned to bake.
How have you practiced?
I've practiced with a teacher.
Have you tasted your dish?
Yes, I've tasted it.
When have you attended?
I've attended last weekend.
Have you enjoyed the class?
Yes, I've enjoyed it a lot.
How have you improved cooking?
I've followed the instructions.
Have you shared your food?
Yes, I've shared with friends.
Have you written anything lately?
Yes, I've written a story.
What have you written about?
I've written about a trip.
Where have you written it?
I've written at my desk.
Have you shared your story?
Yes, I've shared with my mom.
How have you felt after writing?
I've felt creative.
Have you used a laptop?
Yes, I've used my laptop.
When have you written?
I've written last night.
Have you edited your story?
Yes, I've edited it twice.
How have you improved it?
I've added more details.
Have you published it?
No, I've kept it private.
Have you planted anything?
Yes, I've planted flowers.
Where have you planted them?
I've planted in my garden.
Have you watered them yet?
Yes, I've watered them.
How have you cared for them?
I've given them sunlight.
Have you seen them grow?
Yes, I've seen small buds.
When have you planted?
I've planted last week.
Have you used new soil?
Yes, I've used fresh soil.
How have you enjoyed gardening?
I've enjoyed it a lot.
Have you planted vegetables?
Yes, I've planted tomatoes.
Have you shared your plants?
Yes, I've shared with neighbors.
Have you swum this year?
Yes, I've swum in a pool.
Where have you swum?
I've swum at the club.
Have you dived into the water?
Yes, I've dived a few times.
How have you felt in the water?
I felt cool and happy.
Have you swum with friends?
Yes, I've swum with them.
When have you gone swimming?
I've gone last weekend.
Have you worn goggles?
Yes, I've worn goggles.
How have you improved swimming?
I've practiced my strokes.
Have you enjoyed the pool?
Yes, I've enjoyed it a lot.
Have you relaxed after swimming?
Yes, I've relaxed by the pool.
Have you tried a new hobby?
Yes, I've tried photography.
What have you photographed?
I've photographed nature.
Where have you taken photos?
I've taken them in the park.
Have you used a new camera?
Yes, I've used my phone.
How have you edited photos?
I've edited with an app.
Have you shared your pictures?
Yes, I've shared online.
When have you started this hobby?
I've started last month.
Have you learned new skills?
Yes, I've learned framing.
Have you planned more shoots?
Yes, I've planned for tomorrow.
Have you spoken English today?
Yes, I've spoken with you.
How have you practiced it?
I've practiced with conversation.
Have you learned new phrases?
Yes, I've learned some.
When have you used them?
I've used them just now.
Have you enjoyed our talk?
Yes, I've enjoyed it a lot.
How have you improved speaking?
I've improved with practice.
Have you felt confident?
Yes, I felt confident.
What have you gained today?
I've gained new skills.
Have you had a good day?
Yes, I've had a great day.
Thanks for the chat, Hea.
Bye, Mark. See you soon.